It's 3:30 in the morning on a special day in the Gurkha company calendar, and the instructors are on their way to meet some VIPs. 2 hours later, and they're standing at arrivals in Manchester Airport. As they await the Gurkha class of 2016, they recall what it felt like when they themselves landed in England for the first time.
I can never forget that day. It was one of my dream come true day, and I cannot forget.
I still remember that day just like yesterday, so it is pretty massive. These guys are gonna remember this day for the rest of their life.
What's that feeling like when they find out they've actually got in? Can you remember?
It's really like, how can you express this?
It's kind of like a winning lottery feeling.
Really like over the moon, let's say.
The luggage comes first, then the young men, 240 of them, selected from over 7,000. The air is filled with nerves and excitement. For almost all, this will have been their first flight on a plane, perhaps their first coach trip. Some take in the strange mass of tarmac and traffic lights. Others just need to sleep. The notoriously tough selection process for this year's recruits was different to the norm. Following Nepal's earthquake last April that killed over 9,000 people, the 4 months usually spent recruiting had to be rushed into just 5 weeks. Applications were slightly down, though not greatly, and if anything, this year's intake have worked even harder to reach England, given what they've been through back home. By daybreak, they're in soggy Catterick. For the next 9 months, this will be their home and the beginning of a career with the British Army.
You're joining an organisation which is the bravest of the brave, most generous of the generous. Never has a country like mine has friends such as you.
After a traditional blessing, one of the first things on the agenda is cultural acclimatisation. They must learn about Britain, everything from visiting the Houses of Parliament to eating fish and chips by the sea. But this year, Major Ed Withy wants to add something new to the syllabus.
What I'd like to do with them this year is show them a normal British council estate where lots of their peer group would come from in the rest of ITC, to give them an idea of where their friends and peers may grow up in, outside of the Brigade of Gurkhas, but in the British Army.
Before they get down to lessons, there's still time for the young recruits to reflect on the significance of their day.
We are the lucky guys. I'm feeling so proud and I'm so happy about that.
Are your family proud too?
Yes, obviously, man.
I currently think that I have come at like in heaven. My dreams have been achieved, I think.
They may not realise it, but after 200 years marching alongside the British Army, these 240 young men mark the beginning of a new century of service by Gurkhas to the Crown. Hannah King, Forces News in Catterick.